How's it going, everybody? This is BeatTheBush. Today I'm going to talk about robot vacuums, in particular this Eufy X10 Pro Omni station. And the earlier ones, you have to pick up everything off the floor. You essentially have to pre-clean your house before letting the robot vacuum do its thing. That's just ridiculous, right? If you're gonna pre-clean, why don't you just vacuum it yourself? It's just a little bit more effort. There's also the problem of early robot vacuums not having enough suction power. It's never as good as plug-in, stand-up, upright vacuum cleaners. Shipping foam to keep the bumper from activating. On the other side, we have an edge cleaner. Wheels that will adjust the height. There's a dirt bag built in. When you pull it out, it automatically closes so none of the dirt comes out. Dirt comes in from this hole, and there's a filter right here with a suction right below this inlet. So this will empty all the dirt from your robot vacuum. There is a rubber grommet along the edge for sealing. The lights are breathing. Let me turn it on. This vacuum has an 8,000 Pascal pressure unit, which beats out most top-of-the-line robot vacuums. This is a self-emptying robot vacuum. All the debris that goes in there goes into a main storage tank here. It can do carpet floors and mop your hardwood floors. It has a clean water storage tank so it can fill itself up, and then it can empty all the dirty water into the dirty water tank. The bottom have self-lifting mops so that it doesn't drag itself over your carpet. These little nubs over here is the self-cleaning portion of the mop. Need I even say that it will park itself back into position to recharge. It even has AI-enabled cameras to do over 100 objects of image recognition. Now, what about privacy? Because this thing has cameras. It's actually TÜV certified in Germany. All of the camera imagery is locally processed and it's never sent out over the net, although you can enable it manually. On top of the vacuum cleaner, there's a thing called the LiDAR. You know those self-driving cars? They use LiDARs. They shoot a laser out, measure the time of flight response, and they can get a very accurate measurement of the distance to wherever the laser points. With this thing spinning around 360 degrees, it measures the walls and the surroundings with high accuracy. And this is how it can map out your entire room. I have this thing that kind of resembles dog poop, and you're gonna have stuff laying around on the floor. So a glove right there, see if it avoids it. It barely bumps into your stuff. It avoids the cable. Oh, I touched it. It just did one whole perimeter sweep. Going one layer in, it sees the imitation dog poo. Wow, it's getting so close to it. It's maybe like 2 or 3 inches around those objects. Bravo. It just went over the wires underneath my tripod. It seems to not get tangled, even though it's running over it for now. Okay, it managed to get over my wires. You should not be here. It just went through that mess and back out, back home. I was thinking that it wasn't gonna be able to cross this, but it did. I mean, this is quite difficult. I didn't expect it to sneak through that little hole right here. So let's give that a pass and bring this guy back. This kitchen floor is absolutely filthy. I haven't mopped or vacuumed it in weeks, but this is a really good real-world test of actual dirt, not just simulated stuff they sprinkle on the floor. Just random dirt here, stains on the floor, other kinds of stain. I even have some flour in between the crevices, but this is really, really dirty. I gotta fill up the clean water tank. Easy to carry handle. Put it back on. Let's begin another cleaning session. Deep clean. I turned on multi-room mode and it just went out and went back. This is a very small room. It's just the kitchen. It used a laser to map everything really quickly. It didn't travel to every single spot it needs to go. Now it's going back and now it's gonna vacuum and mop. No lights on. The vacuum keeps on vacuuming and mopping with its own little lights. It does this twisting motion because those mops are not all to the edge of the vacuum cleaner. So this is a feature you can enable to mop all the way to the edge. It just finished mopping this kitchen 3 times. It looks reasonably clean. I've seen much worse in other mop vacuum cleaners. There's a bunch of debris in the mop cleaning area because the vacuum didn't vacuum it in time before the mop picked it up. It used about a third of it for 3 rounds. See the dirty one? It is a little dirty. This stain is actually a little bit too close to the edge. This stain seems a little bit hard for it to clean up. It's kind of glued on there. My fridge's ledge is about 3 inches, but the robot is 3 3/4 inches tall. Naturally, there's no way for it to get under there. This one is underneath the ledge. It's just a smidgen taller. Same thing for my cabinets, just a smidgen too tall. So you want to double check that your cabinets, if you want the robot to go underneath, you want to double check your cabinets or at least 3 3/4 inch or taller. After mopping, it automatically dries a mop head so it doesn't accumulate bacteria. You can set it to 2 hour, 3 hour, or 4 hour worth of drying. At 3 hours, the mop drying fan turned off and consumed a total of 0.216 kilowatt hours. At 40 cents per kilowatt hour, that's 8.6 cents to dry the mop each time. Completely dry and not nasty at all. The clean heads are a little fuzzier on these little stripes here. This gives it 2 different kinds of texture to clean the floor. When it turns, there's actually more than one single point of mopping right here. So this allows it to clean even at the center of the vacuum cleaner. And it's held together with some Velcro. Putting this back on.
Mop pad holder installed.
Compare this to a competing robot mop that does not have self-cleaning. What do you do with this after it's done? You have to go in here, touch this dirty thing, and pull it out, maybe replace it. You could rinse this, but it definitely is not very nice to deal with. It has an automatic hair detangling mechanism. Let's see if it actually detangled anything. A little bit of hair still gets left in here. This cleaning comb is only a couple of millimeters deep, so it makes sense that it only cleans the top portion of the brushes. On the back, there are 2 contacts to charge it. There's an inlet for the water and positioning holes. In the base station, these are the contacts for charging. These are the pins to help it guide it into position, and the inlet nozzle for the water. When it cleans the mop, it just brushes it against these nubs and ejects water into the bottom. The dirty water goes in here, and if you lift that, there's a little tube that sucks up into the dirty water reservoir. Outlets for the heater in order to dry the mops. This is a push-pull type of vacuum system where it pushes air from this hole into the vacuum, and it also pulls air out through this hole. And when it pulls the air out, this flap comes out. On the air intake side, there's just a bunch of holes. Let's lift up the lid here. Now you can remove the dustbin manually too.
Dustbin removed.
In case anything gets stuck, air would go in here, dust will go out there, and when it's vacuuming, dust will go in here. You also have a built-in filter that you can replace, this little guy here. If you ever wanted to go home, just press the home button.
Heading home. Positioning.
It finds its base, it backs in,
Charging.
and it charges itself. I've dusted the floor with some flour. Let's see how well it does along the edges. This is a very typical kitchen. There are ledges underneath the fridge, and there are ledges underneath the dishwasher, and also all along the cabinets. The robot vacuum can't reach under there. If you have really deep grooves in your tiles, the robot can't pick up the dirt inside those grooves. Right on the surface and away from underneath ledges, it can clean those just fine. It gives a 10 Newton force from the mop heads. That's 2.2 pounds of pressing against the floor and cleaning it. That's actually a lot more than competing robot vacuums. And even if that's not good enough, do multiple passes. It's a robot. It can do it like 10 times. It won't get tired, and eventually it will clean everything very well. Thanks for watching this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. This is going to be the most bang for the buck robot vacuum cleaner that you're gonna find in 2024. Under $1,000 when most other manufacturers are selling something with similar features for around $1,400. And I wouldn't even say similar features because it beats out in suction power, it beats out in the mop lifting distance, it even has AI image recognition. So it doesn't step on poo and mushes it all over the place. If you guys are interested in this robot vacuum, I think it's a great value. I just bought a self-emptying robot vacuum just about 2 years ago for around $1,100. It was on sale even. It actually had 2 separate units, one vacuum cleaner and then one mop. The mop wasn't self-emptying. The vacuum cleaner had trouble whenever there's wires laying on the ground. It gets stuck quite often. So after using this, All of those, I plan to get rid of them. If you guys are in the market for a high-end robotic vacuum but not cost a lot of money, check out this Eufy X10 Pro Omni. Check out my affiliate link down in the video description below. Thanks for watching this video. Until next time.